Hello and welcome, everybody, to another TWDE AMA. I am Captain Zach Peterson, here once again with Superboy Brandon. Say hello, Superboy.
Hello, great to be back.
And the always present Doug Sunny. Say hello, Doug.
Hello, everyone. Doug here.
It's good to have you with us once again, Doug. Something special happening today, something you've been working behind the scenes trying to make happen for people. So you want to chat a moment about what you're doing with us, Doug?
Yeah, that's true. I just announced early today that we're doing a giveaway during this live stream. So everyone is invited, everyone can participate. How it's gonna work? I already posted terms and conditions and every detail in Discord, but we are doing like we did in previous ahead of the game. So we're gonna show in the next 20, 30 minutes a secret word, a special word that you're gonna use for our secret channel there in Discord. You can check the specific channel in the global announcements or even the TWDE announcements. But you're going to go there, click the button of the bot, and then gonna input the secret words. You're gonna get one of a special row, and then we're gonna draw the names in the next days. So we're gonna have like 20 common heroes to for the giveaway. So stay tuned for the next 20, 30 minutes in the middle of live stream. We're going to show the secret codes.
Very cool. And thank you for putting this together, sir. So that's what we've got Mercer, Princess, and Carol. And who else do we have up there? I believe Eugene. There you go. Four of our favorites that we're giving away, and they're hanging out with us in the live stream as well. Here you can see them spinning around. First time the common version of these characters are being given away. If you don't have any heroes yet, you can get them, play with them, or give them to a friend and have them jump into the game and play as them. So as always, when you're playing with those heroes, your progress will be saved even between server wipes. So as we build the game, make things happen, your progress, your XP will be saved, and you'll be able to keep playing with them. So it's a fun way to get your friends involved in the game. So thank you for joining us, guys. We also have a few other special guests here today, but before that, Brandon, what do we have to tell people to do?
Everybody, please remember to like and subscribe.
Ha, perfect. You did a great job there.
Nailed it.
So we are going to...
and join the Discord too.
GalaGames.chat.
That one.
Yeah, so that's a good one. GalaGames.chat. Join the TWDE discussion channel. That's where you can input the codes. We're hanging in there as well, hanging out in there. So I'll be able to keep an eye on the chatter of what's going on. Doug is keeping an eye on that. So we will be able to answer people's questions and have a little bit of a good discussion here today. So transitioning now, we've got Ian playing the game with us. So we'll be able to see him. This is our latest development build. We do nightly builds of progress within the game. So a couple of cool things that he's going to show off. But along with Ian, our silent partner, we've got two other devs joining us here today that we're going to do some more in-depth chatting with. So first off, we've got Paul Sullivan over there on the right, and we got Wyatt Waters on the left. So say hello, Paul.
Hello, Paul. I'm Paul. I'm a senior combat designer on Walking Dead Empires. Happy to be here today.
Great to see you, sir. And Wyatt, say hello to everybody.
Hey everyone, I'm Wyatt. I'm the level designer on TWDE.
So we're going to do a little bit, things a little bit different than our normal AMA today. We're going to have these fine gentlemen show off what they've been working on recently. And we're going to do a little bit of a back and forth with you all in the Discord too. So as we're discussing the combat with Paul and the level design with Wyatt, feel free to chime in there and let us know what you like, what you don't like as much, what you would like to see changed, what you would like to see more of. And that gives these guys a chance to hear directly from you and have a little bit of a back and forth while we're all hanging out here. So let's get into it. So let's start with Paul with combat, and let's hear what's been up in combat land, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. So right now is a really exciting time to be a Walking Dead fan. With all the spin-off shows coming out, we're seeing a wealth of new walker types that are being kind of introduced to to the show, and they've got different attributes and strengths to them, which translate really well to game mechanics. So I guess we can start looking at some of the new ones. If anyone's a fan of Daryl Dixon, you might recognize the Amped Walker. So would you mind spawning that one in, Ian? And I think this was first introduced in episode 1. It's basically a short-lived, fast, frenetic combat encounter that you can't just run around the world and kind of avoid this guy. Like once you see him, you're going to have to deal with it.
Only mild spoilers if you haven't watched Daryl Dixon. There's walkers in it.
Ian's too strong.
He killed it so quickly.
Ian is boldly playing without infinite health on as well. So
He's a true gamer.
But yeah, they've got a different animation set. They move very quickly. They're difficult to just kind of run by. That's kind of when we look at some of the new walkers that are being introduced to the show, we say, hey, how can we translate what they're doing in the show to a fun combat mechanic? And one thing we realized was it can be a bit easy to kind of run around the open world without much impediment, which didn't feel quite right. So we're hoping the Amped Walker type can kind of throw a wrench into your regular traversal of the world. In addition, there is the Burner Walker type. These they basically have acidic blood. So any sort of touch that they do to survivors, it leaves a mark. It leaves some burning lingering behind. And as you're kind of taking them down, their blood's going to spill out around them and create these area denial pools that will be acidic if the player stands near them. And these again were also introduced in episode 1. Daryl ends up squaring off against which spoilers, this is the third type I'm going to introduce, an amped burner, which combines both of these together. So if you want to go ahead and spawn one of those in. And if, keen players can kind of zoom in their camera and they'll see that there's the dart in the neck of the amped walker, just like we see in the show. We've been toying around with ideas for how to allow players or enemies to use these darts to kind of activate nearby walkers into amped walkers. We're hoping this will create kind of just more dynamic combat situations that the player needs to respond to.
Yeah, one of the aspects of the amped walkers is that they don't last forever. Is that right, Paul?
Correct. Yeah, they've got about a 30-second lifetime currently. Whatever the French are giving them in those shots, it makes them short-lived but volatile for that time. So we're trying to, kind of capture the theme of the show and the walkers in the show with what we're doing with the amped walker here to try and create that. So won't last forever, but it's something you got to deal with.
And a question coming in from the Discord is, when will the new walkers be introduced into the game? As of right now, we don't have a set date where we'll be adding them. They still need to be placed into the levels in a way that makes sense. And I guess we can kind of talk a little bit more about how we plan on using these walkers and the next enemy set that we kind of go over here in the future. But let's check out the next guys too, and then we can kind of discuss how we're going to be populating them in the new system.
Yeah, so alongside walkers, we've got another, probably the most dangerous type of enemy, humanoids. So I think we can start off with the wolves. If you want to go ahead and spawn them, Ian. I'll introduce them. Basically, they're they have the W's carved in their head. They utilized walkers against their opponents in the show. They weren't really technologically advanced. They had a lot of blunt and crude weapons. So you're going to see them utilize those weapons in combat against players. One thing that we're still working on is we're creating some behavior sets for these different factions. So the wolves, when they get low health, they're going to get kind of scared and they're a bit cowardly. So they're going to run off and flee. And if you want to kill them and get their loot that they have, this might pull you into nearby walkers. Additionally, the wolves, they're stronger together when they fight. So you're going to want to kind of separate them off one by one and not fight a group of them at once, as Ian just did, and get kind of get overpowered by their numbers. So, and for each faction, we're kind of going for just little hints and behavior hints and mechanics like that to kind of sell what they do. So there you saw the wolves. We can look at the Reapers next. The Reapers are really cool. We've actually got we've got a standard Reaper loadout here today, and we also have a Marksman Reaper loadout. And I can talk about the differences between those. Here as Ian gets into combat with some of them. So there you notice the Humanoid is using what we call a pre-visual ability indicator, similar to what players do with their weapon abilities. So the idea here is that we want them to have avoidable damage mechanics that the player can kind of outsmart. One thing we haven't hooked up yet is their basic rifle attacks, like you're seeing here. We're gonna go ahead and allow you to avoid those as well, similar that you can with the first thrown grenade round ability that you saw. So a goal for these is to have avoidance mechanics on them. If you spawn in another marksman, you can kind of see they'll do a line attack from the sniper against the player. Let me see. Yeah, we got a few there. So he's winding up that line attack there. Boom, Ian got out of the way. He's a gamer. So those are the kind of moments that we're going for with the humanoid enemies, and kind of like the amped walkers, you can't just run past these in the world because they actually can move quickly. That's been something that we've realized is a lot of our creatures don't have the move speed to kind of give you that impediment that you need to deal with right away. So we're really excited to get humanoids and amped walkers in. Oh, let's look at the CRM real quick. So these ones aren't completely done yet, but
the Commonwealth, I think, is what you're.
Oh, we could do either or.
Okay.
Let's try CRM standard. So here we see an assault rifle loadout. They have like a grenade ability that you can avoid. This is similar to the player assault rifle. And again, different factions will have different weapon loadouts, different mechanics. The CRM, you won't expect to see them flee at low health, kind of like the wolves will. Like they're a bit more organized. They're going to be better at surrounding you. So we're going to give each faction little AI hints to help them feel different in combat. So,
and it does make a significant difference. Like once you're used to walkers in the game, it's always things that kind of like follow you or maybe get in your way. All of a sudden you're going through and things start shooting at you. It's like a completely different feeling and you're not sure what to do at first.
Yeah, it throws a nice wrench. I can't share exactly the specifics, but AMC has assured us that there are new and interesting walker models coming that we can play off of that I'm really excited to bring to life. So, we're looking at things like the kind of cindery walkers that you've seen in The Ones Who Survive, right? Where they've kind of got these embers embedded in their body and what that might be like to fight them. So it's really exciting as these new shows come out. We have a lot of opportunities to add these new walker types to the game. So really cool to see that.
So on top of adding in the new characters here, we do have kind of a new way that you'll be engaging with them to give more of a reason for fighting the walkers. So you kind of want to chat about that a bit. Maybe we'll go to Brandon to explain that, what we're trying to do. I know a lot of folks, and you can discuss in the Discord as you're hanging out with us, galagames.chat, join the TWDE discussion. So a lot of folks do generally kind of run right past the elites as they're lower power fighting them, and then they mow them down once they're higher powers. So we're kind of looking into that system to make it more exciting to engage with the elites and with the human enemies here as we're adding them. But Brandon, do you want to describe that?
Yeah. So there's kind of two aspects to it. One is like, how do we introduce these people into this world where it makes sense that there are walkers just kind of standing around everywhere, because that's kind of how it is in the show. There's always walkers everywhere. But why would it be that you walk around a corner and there's just a bunch of wolves or soldiers or something standing there? Like, what are they doing? And second is like what Zach was alluding to, is that oftentimes when there is a more difficult enemy, your instinct is just like, well, I'll just go away. There's no point in me expending the resources to battle them. And so we have developed a system where there's going to be a guarded crate. And so these humans or the elite walkers will be guarding that crate, as the name alludes to. And you have to defeat them in order to get to it. There will be a prize within that may be exceptional compared to what you normally would find just looting around in garbage cans and cars. And it may not be. It's kind of a luck of the draw thing. But it gives you a lot more desire to engage with the tougher enemies. And then again, it's still a choice, but you'll have more of a reason to do it. And then there's a reason why these humans are hanging out in the world. They're protecting their assets.
Yeah, so it should be an exciting way to kind of liven up the world, give a bit more of a agency to the players, getting the good loot and a reason to engage with those harder enemies, which is all good things. So in the Discord, if you have questions for Paul and for combat, give a shout out. We're eager to answer them, and happy to be showing off all the stuff here. And one thing I saw that come through is just people kind of eager to be playing, wanting it sooner than later, and just know that we also want to give it to you sooner than later. So these are all things that take time to develop. They take time to populate the world, and they take time to not crash the experience. So I've said it before, I'll say it again, game development is hard, and a game on this scale with this MMO is even more challenging. So we bring things to you as quick as we can. We get them in your hands, and we've wanted to develop this with you all in mind, and we've been doing so. And just being able to do a public development build like this, with getting everything early in your hands and being able to see people live stream it, play with it, share their feedback is incredibly valuable to us, and to be able to see this whole product coming together. So yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Doug, if you see anything coming in, that's a good question to ask for combat as well. Let me know.
Oh, related to combat. Not combat, but any ETA for new heroes?
As far as new heroes, no ETA. I mean, we'll keep the current set as we go. As most people that have been following the game know, we did our big hero reveal. I believe that was that a year ago, Brandon? Was that 2 years ago? Time goes
right in between there, I think. Yeah.
In a weird manner. So we launched our hero pack, and as of right now, we're still waiting to get the game into more hands to let people really play with what we have, make a bigger splash before releasing future heroes, because we also have to kind of identify how exactly we want them, if they're collectible, if they're part of a battle pass, etc.
Yeah, there's definitely other aspects of the game that need to catch up. Like we have a pretty considerable library of heroes at the moment. There's other systems that are still in their infancy that we need to build out more.
Yeah. And a related question, I think Sigurd asked, can you join NPC factions? But then maybe we can talk, any chance of standings between with the factions, or all the factions are gonna be like enemies and kill one spot or anything like that?
We have discussed possibilities of having like a different relationship with each faction. I think that's what the question was getting to. It's not something we're currently getting in for like the first version of Humans. But yeah, it's definitely on the plate. I think that's something we got to talk more with Paul about and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Okay, and then so keep an eye on the chatter there. Doug will come back to combat in a bit. So thank you, Paul, for explaining and for showing stuff off. It's really exciting to see those factions fight each other and fight the undead as they move around as well. I think it just really adds a lot of immersion to the game. So getting them in people's hands soon will be exciting.
we didn't touch on that much, but they, like Zach alluded to, they will fight walkers while you're out of combat. So we want to sell the world feeling alive. So when you come across these new humanoids, they could be fighting nearby walkers. They could be trying to hunt a nearby deer. They might get attacked by a bear. You know, we want to have those moments where you stumble upon it and it feels organic. So yeah, I just wanted to add to that. That is an exciting component of them that we didn't touch on.
I'd love to see a bear run out of the woods and attack the guy I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's thank you, Paul. We'll have you on the call with us the rest of the time here. So if people have combat questions, send them our way, and take them, Paul, in the Discord as well. So if you want Paul to answer something specific, it'll make it a little easier for Doug, make it easier for me. So let's ask Paul some combat questions. Let him know what you're liking about combat or what you would like to see. And with that, let's go back to Doug and chat some more about this common hero giveaway. So Doug.
Yeah. And just before we start about the giveaway, Zach, maybe there's a question in our YouTube channel. This is the kind of question that sometimes pops up every 2 or 3 weeks. They're asking how engaged is AMC in providing direction or ideas. So sometimes the players, they don't know how close we are working with AMC. So maybe you can comment about that.
No, that's a good one. So we do have we chat with the folks at AMC weekly, keep them abreast of the game development. They are very excited about the game. They love the team. They love the direction. One thing that was kind of cool that we didn't really call out as well is as we were dropping in the Commonwealth soldiers there, one thing that we added was Chris Miller, our art director, was talking about it would be cool to see a little visual differentiation with the Commonwealth enemies and the heavy versions of them. So we got approval from them for the red tinted variant of the heavy model there. So if Ian drops the heavy Commonwealth soldier back in, you'll be able to see it. Or if you watch the video again in the future, there he's got it. You'll be able to see that it's tinted a little differently. For the shrewd fans of The Walking Dead, you'll know that Mercer is part of the Commonwealth, and that's why he's got the similar armor. He's an orange tinted character. He's the only one in the Commonwealth Army with that. But this is the only other variation on their armor, and we worked with AMC to get that approved. So that's just kind of a cool example of our collaboration with AMC. And then we do work with them on social media. We work with them on advertisements during the shows. So all sorts of cool stuff that we're doing with them, and we'll be continuing to ramp up as the game sees a wider release. Yeah, thanks for calling that out, Doug.
Okay. And so about the giveaway, we do have 5 Mercer, 5 Princess, 5 Carol, and 5 Eugene, 5 common NFTs of each hero. And so we're gonna have 20 winners. And how it's gonna work? We're gonna say one secret word. Paul's gonna show on screen, and then everyone can just insert this word in the secret channel in Discord. If you don't know where is this channel, you can check in the global announcements or TWDE announcements. The link is there. And I saw a few guesses I asked early. People are guessing words like GALACHAIN, TWDE, plushes, even Doug, founders, maybe because a lot of people are anxious to know more about the founders key, katana, dad, and other words related to also names of the characters like Rick and etc. So anyway, the word that we selected is, let's see if anyone guesses, but is related what happens or what we can check on the ground when someone dies in the game. We do have a few players that collect a few screenshots about that inside the game. I think I saw at least Lucifer, NFT Chuck, and way on a lot of others. So let's see. Oh, I think I was too split. Yeah. There's already a guess from Chuck saying Doug's backpack, but no, it's not Doug's backpack. It's just the word backpack. So please show to everyone, Paul. Okay. You can type the word there. Just a reminder, type lowercase. Then you're gonna everyone that do that, the bot automatically. Yeah. So just you can type with any like hierarchy, like lowercase or etc. But you're gonna receive a role named TWDE AMA giveaway. So everyone with this role, after 24 hours from now, we're gonna draw the names in the next days, like during the middle of the week. So don't forget to put there the word is backpack.
And I see, so thank you for that, Doug. Everybody type away, get the role, get in on the giveaway. Thank you once again for organizing this, Doug. I've been seeing some action happening in the Discord with Paul there. So, Paul, I'm going to make you take it to the wider class and chatter. So, some of the things that you deemed interesting to converse with on there, do a little let us know what the question was and what conversation you're having, so the people watching the video can get a little inside the game. What's going on, Paul?
Yeah, one question that we've talked about a lot on the team was, what happens to a human when they die? Well, in the show, we know you become a walker. In the game currently, you lose some durability on your inventory. You can come back to life, but there's not really a cool loop of selling that kind of you become a walker if you die fantasy. So it's something we've pitched around a lot of, like, what would happen if you did die and your player character retained its name but had slightly better loot and would kind of go out into the world and become a slightly more powerful than average walker, and if you do happen to stumble upon it, you kill it. So we do think that would add more kind of fantasy and better sell what's going on in the show. So that was an interesting question. A lot of PvP questions. Unfortunately, we are focusing on PvE first, but we think we're not happy with the time to die in the PvP zone right now. So, the PvP encounters, they're over in seconds. And as it was mentioned in chat, a lot of it is having a higher level hero, which allows you to kind of get that, that half a second edge that you need. So we're not super happy with how that's playing out. We're looking to increase the time to die, and we're going to revisit, I think, a lot of kind of PvP back and forth after we get these new humanoid and walker AI types in.
And I'll add on to that. Just right now, the experience in game when you do die, it's not obviously not finished. I know some players sort of sacrifice themselves as distraction meat for the walkers as their buddies are upgrading their HQs. There will be different respawning mechanics and stuff in there, so that it is a little bit more punishing to die than it currently is. But also, we don't want it to feel too punishing. So there's work to be done there.
Also, someone asked about immortal pills, to which I replied, just kind of talking about our loose idea of the defibrillator kit, where you would either prepare a crafted medical item that would allow you to resurrect and place at your corpse. It'd be expensive to craft, or perhaps you can use it on an ally who has fallen next to you and kind of get a bit of an opportunity to res them, like you see in some battle royale games and some other games. So we're excited about adding a little bit of variety into death and kind of how you address it. But yeah.
One reminder only for the people watching us. I explained it in our Twitter announcement, but everyone to be able to participate and to view the secret channel channel there in Discord, you do need to connect your Discord account with your Gala Games account. So just go to Gala Games website, click account, and then link at account, and then connect your Discord there. This way you're gonna be verified. You're gonna be able to see your GALACHAIN address and everything. Everything goes smoothly with the winners. Okay. Don't forget that.
Okay, so moving on with our regularly scheduled program here, we've got Wyatt joining us as well, and he's been relatively quiet because we haven't been talking about his section of the code here.
Waiting for him.
But But there was a good segue from somebody, Potato W3 asked, is this map new? Why, Wyatt? You're just the perfect person to ask. So what's going on with this map that we're looking at?
Yeah, so the locations that you've been seeing Ian running around in are kind of the latest updates that we've been working on to the world of TWDE. The push we're doing is to have these more urban and neighborhood type environments in the game. Obviously, in the show, these places are set pieces for a lot of the story and a lot of the episodes, and so obviously we needed to have them represented in the game as well. And so we've been doing a lot of work on figuring out how to make these work with all of our game systems and what kind of role we want these environments to play in the overall experience. So yeah, Ian is right now, he's by I think this one is kind of like a shopping center. And you can see, instead of, trees and grass, now we've got concrete and huge buildings and all that fun stuff. So
Do you want to give a little bit of a some context in the map design here as well? Like Ian can bring up the zone map and kind of show off and kind of how things are organized and what the play style that we're kind of envisioning with this.
yeah, so kind of like zooming out, the view of the whole world. We wanted to have these like kind of neighborhood and like city type environments be more common in the higher rarities, and it makes sense with like there being harder things in those places and also better loot. That kind of dovetails nicely with moving towards a more urban location. So you'll notice, like in the edges of the map, those are still going to be mostly forest, as kind of if you've played the current build, that's kind of what most of it looks like, is it's mostly forest and kind of space to build your base. But as you go up in rarity, there'll gradually be more and more of these types of kind of urban little blocks that we've set up. And we also wanted to use these as a way to we wanted to use these also as a way to have our we're working on an interior system as well, and so obviously you need buildings to go inside of. So having these urban environments will also have a lot of places you can go in and explore. If you've played the current build, we have a police station that you can go in. That's just the first of a lot of interiors that we have kind of coming down the pipe. So
yeah. So and the way we kind of talked through it and we've worked on this is that the zones will now be split up a bit more to kind of like the building area and the raiding area. So in this one, if Ian brings up the map there, you can see the bigger green grass areas, perfect for placing a base on, and then that more densely packed urban area. So going in buildings, finding the resources and supplies, creating a little bit more danger in the urban area too. So kind of exciting to see it coming together there. One thing I've seen a lot of as people are playing right now is some HQs nestled in parking lots or right next to buildings, stuff like that. I know one thing you're working on is now blocking out, kind of taking our secondary pass. The first one was making it so you couldn't build on the roads, and now kind of taking a pass so that people can't put an HQ in a tight little spot nestled next to a building. So I'm excited to see that in action as well.
Yeah, and on that topic, just to kind of give kind of our thought process for how we got there. Obviously, we want to give players, freedom to put your base where you choose, and obviously base building is a really important part of our game, but that conflicts a lot with the types of environments that we want to be able to have in the game, and the result is exactly what you described, Zach, where players can end up, wedging their base in between buildings and being able to kind of circumnavigate our lovely base building system. So we've decided to make it so you can't build your base in these kind of urban spaces. But don't worry, you can still build near them, just in kind of the green areas nearby in the same zone. But you won't be able to build like where Ian is standing, for example. So yeah, just to give kind of clarity on our thought process for that.
And that
Yeah.
should create a lot more of that kind of a feeling from the show where they would camp out somewhere, usually kind of out in the woods or in the country, and then they would go on loot runs into the city to collect supplies every now and then. And there's kind of that enhanced danger, and especially once we get those interiors set up on all the buildings in there, you'll be kind of poking around and you don't know what you're going to find while you're trying to get all that loot, and you also got to make it out, or your loot's going to stay there.
Yeah, and this approach also gives us a bit more freedom to really amp up the density of both the enemies and the loot in these locations, because we don't have to worry about there being, ample space for bases and that type of stuff. We can just focus on making a really fun, cool, city kind of set piece, and just let you run around in it and fight.
Yeah, it is looking really cool. It feels neat to run around in as we continue to add more interiors, being able to go in, more resources kind of findable within those urban environments. I think it's going to be a neat experience for everybody. So everybody hanging out in the Discord, the galagames.chat TWDE discussion channel. Check it out. If you have any questions for Wyatt, go ahead and just tag Wyatt on your question, and Doug will see it and he'll relay it to the chat here. So anything level design related, zone related, give him a shout and we're happy to answer them. So we'll kind of work those in, and happy to ask him level design questions, ask Paul combat questions. We'll mix those guys in, and now we're kind of moving on to our general AMA phase. So I know there's a lot of things that people are interested in the game, and we will get your questions and see how well we can answer them. So Doug, hit me with something. What are people interested in here?
Yeah, there's a general question about bounties. People want to place a bounty on other players just for fun. Any plans?
That's something we definitely had in the plans. I guess still is in the plans. It falls a lot more into kind of like the PvP aspect. And as Paul mentioned earlier, we're focusing a lot on the PvE experience right now. But for sure, that's something that can help balance out when a higher level player is picking on you or on your alliance, being able to get revenge by putting a bounty on them so that someone even higher level can earn a little something by getting your revenge for you. It definitely seems like something that fits in.
Yeah, good question. I'm going to take a couple of harder fast pitches in here. I've seen a few people asking about them. I know these are things on people's mind. I see the dungeon image being blasted over and over. So yeah, basically the kind of the two big chunks of tech that we're looking at right now are dungeons and mobile. That's where a lot of our time is being spent. That's where the updates have slowed down a bit because once again, game development is hard. And making something like this work on mobile is even harder. So we are looking a lot into memory optimization, which is an extremely exciting thing to talk about if you're the right kind of person, and extremely boring for a general YouTube AMA. So I won't get into that too much, but we've got some great engineers tackling that challenge, trying to get the game to run on the more recent phones. So we've got a memory target, we've got some things in mind, we're looking at it and trying to get it up and running. We've also got things like CPU performance. That's fun to talk about. So we're optimizing there. We got that going on. And really, there's a lot of stuff that has to change for the mobile as well. We have a new front end coming in that we're working on. We have a new HUD that we're working on for the mobile experience. We'll have to change up a lot of the menus to make them more tap friendly. So So that is a big chunk of time, a big chunk of tech, and a lot of smart people doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes trying to make that happen. So that one's still a ways off, but it is a big focus for the team right now. We're seeing cool things happening with that. The dungeons is another big one. This is a MMO, and dungeons are an interesting experience because, especially instance dungeons, you need to have servers running your instance. So if the 5 of us on the call here are playing 5 different instances, these servers have to support that. It takes time, takes effort, takes a lot of smart people, and that's another big one that we're working on. I think we've showed off some dungeon stuff before. There's still some things that we are able to show off that we can see. But really, the dungeon instancing is a big one that we're tackling and getting just some cool tech happening there. So they're being worked on, they're happening, and I'm hoping the next AMA will be able to show off some more around those. But it is cool to see them coming online, and cool to see progress happening and everybody chatting about them. Everybody on the call here is in on those chats, and exciting to see the progress. So. I'm just going to keep going. I think this is Smiling Monster's list, Doug, but he just keeps posting it, so I'm just going to make him happy for the short term here.
There, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So premium, founders keys, dead coin, light paper, all those things. They're in flight, really kind of just waiting on external dependencies at this point. We've got a lot of stuff in the game waiting to be turned on. And the core tech teams have been really hard at work getting all the other things set up. So the time to be able to support our project has been more limited. We've got cool things like Gala Swap happening. We have the hackathon happening. So there's been a lot of hard work going on with the core platform team, and that's limited our ability to get some of the stuff done that we would love to bring to you as well. So the founders keys, the dead coin, the premium subscriptions are all things that are waiting on, and I hope that someday soon we'll be able to bring those to you all. So I think that's it. I think I ran through that list, Doug. I know that was one that that we've wanted to touch on. So yeah, so give us a softball. Give us something fun to answer.
Let's see here. There's a more like a different question that was people posted in the beginning of the live stream. They asked about like Gala music integration, or like a different question. Maybe people wanna, I don't know, like listen to the music in game or having the game music in game. I think it's more this kind of touch a little bit of things about copyright and etc. I don't know.
I think for the time being, your best approach to that is going to be having that open in your browser while you play the game.
And
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for the most part, I think all of our mobile games have respected music streaming services too. So if you have your music playing, we usually fade out the music in game. I could be wrong, and Damon might yell at me about that, but if you wanted to have your Gala music app playing in the background, we've talked about integrating it into the title too. I don't know what exactly, like how many people would use it, or how kind of integral we can make the experience. We've thrown around the ideas of having it stream over like a radio sort of a thing or something too. I don't know. There could be fun stuff, but most likely it would be a ways off before we would spend the time to integrate that. Some cool stuff that could happen though with the integration there. All right, give us another one, Doug.
Okay, that's more like an open one. Chuck is asking, what are you all like the TWDE dev team most excited about coming up?
That's a good one. Let's start with Paul. Paul, what are you most excited about?
Definitely dungeons. I think right now, like HQ upgrade waves are super fun. They're one of my favorite parts of the game. You need to invite friends over to do them. You need to collect a lot of resources, especially as you get higher level, a lot. But they're kind of one of the only things that you can do right now. So I think that problem will help. Dungeons will help solve that. Now you have something else you can do, and they're not only great for kind of like a guiding experience for newer players, but there also will be some more opt-in difficulty dungeons that, like, hey, I've got a grip of mastery of the combat in the game, and I want to go, put this brand new weapon that I just crafted in armor set to the test, and my talent build, and kind of see how far I can make it in this dungeon. So really excited for just kind of players to have more in-game outlets.
Nice answer. That was good. Yeah, Wyatt, what are you excited about?
The same things as Paul, honestly. Dungeons, like you mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of tech hurdles to get over. But I'm really excited to get working on dungeons and to give everyone that aspirational content, and and also like Paul mentioned, have that ability to do like a more smooth kind of like controlled introduction to the game through dungeons as well. So there's a lot of avenues that open up to us through those, and I'm just excited to get there.
All right, Brandon, your turn. What are you excited about that's coming down the pipe?
All right, I was going to jump out with human enemies, but I'll differentiate from the pack a bit, and I'll go actually the new character selection UI. I think it's one of the first things that people see in the game, and you see it, you'll go through it every time you load in and everything. So I think it'll just have a big impact in the quality of the experience getting into the game, especially if you're playing different profiles. It'll be much more streamlined, and it's better.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm going to say my answer is the pathfinding to the cars when you go to loot them. Our engineer Steven fixed that recently in the dev build. I think this might have it if you pulled it in, Wyatt, into yours here. But when you click a vehicle, you now walk to it instead of taking the long path around it to end up somewhere. So that's a small thing, but it's another one of the changes that we're focused on recently, of trying to make the experience a little tighter, to make it more just more user friendly. Another thing I saw in the chat kind of float by was somebody asking about the when your character turns away to shoot the air instead of the walkers.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things we're looking at right now. We're trying to find those issues that could turn people off from starting to play. What you need to do with a free-to-play game, and especially a mobile free-to-play game, is that it has to feel good. We need a strong onboarding main menu, like Brandon was just talking about. We need it to feel good when you walk up to loot something. We need it to perform well, and those are all the things that are going into it. And it makes our current updates a little less exciting for everybody that's playing every day. But it also is going to make the game better as a whole, and just be a better experience that more people will be interested in experiencing with you, which is better for everyone. So.
Yeah, and we love it when you guys call out those bugs. Usually we see them too. We see that we're pointing our gun the wrong way when we're attacking and stuff like that, and obviously getting on it and stuff. But it's great to have the community there playing and pointing these things out in case there's something that we were unaware of, and that helps it to get fixed faster.
Yeah, it's also an anecdote. We get to say, like, look at these people are also seeing this issue.
Yeah, it's not just us.
Yeah, so it is nice to see it, call it out. Doug's our eyes and ears. He really brings it to our attention. If we're not seeing it in the Discord, he brings it to us. So definitely, you're all part of the experience. You're all part of making this game great as well. So it's why we're developing it this way, and we're happy to have you all as part of it. So. Toss another question our way, Doug.
Yeah, there is two questions here. One about party system that we kind of talked in the past, but because in the past we talked about crafting stations, the idea that we're gonna be able to place a hero there to give like boosts, etc. Any chance that we're gonna have like a harvesting place, like I would say anything. I think that you build, you can place your hero there, maybe so he can collect wood or stone, even in small quantities, just because like upgraded the HQ in high levels use a lot of resource. Anything like that?
That has been something that we've discussed a bit. the system for starting to add in your additional heroes, like slotting them into your constructs and your crafting stations and stuff like that, that's one of those systems that is still sort of in its infancy. And I think as we get more into that's a strong possibility that we may find having those heroes contributing small amounts of resources. There may be a new construct that's required for that, but it's a similar thing in a lot of these survival games like that, where you can kind of use your resources to generate more resources like that. So I will say probable.
That's good to know. And the other question was asked about party system, so people can band together and go fight the walkers and share the XP and etc.
Yeah, we're definitely still planning a party system. It's obviously not ready yet, but yeah, 100%, we're doing that.
Yeah. One question I saw come in there, well, more than once, lots of people asking about the founders keys. We haven't really talked about them too much as we were just waiting for them, to everything to get in line for them. It is a part of the dead coin, so it's an item that will help generate dead coin, seed dead coin into the ecosystem early. It's something that will be available for sale at some point. We'll have a bigger stream at that moment to just kind of like talk about it, introduce what it does. But that's really what it is. So hopefully that we're not trying to hide like what it is or what it does. But that's it. And there just hasn't been a huge reason to discuss it up till now. But as Deadcoin becomes a reality in the ecosystem and as the premium pass, stuff like that, and we'll talk more about the founders key sale. Yeah. Okay, we got probably like another 5 or so minutes here. Anything else jumping out at anyone in the Discord they want to answer there? Paul, anything else combat related that you've wanted to chat?
I think something you touched on earlier was kind of like we're aware that the curve from common to ancient isn't perfect right now. We feel like it's a little bit too difficult when you start out, and then it gets a bit too easy at the end game once you're max level. So we're hoping a combination of different end game activities, such as dungeons, will kind of help with that. And then in addition, Wyatt and I work together a lot to make sure that we're kind of spawning and placing creatures appropriately at rarities in dungeons and interior spaces, kind of at a graduation from common to ancient. So there's going to be a lot more changes to expect there. We're doing a lot of things like removing wolves and bears from common, or the harder walkers. And then you're going to need to graduate to those higher rarity zones to chase the different walkers, which have cooler drops on them that you will need to progress your base. So just kind of, letting you know that we are aware that curve isn't quite playing out how we want right now. So definitely something to expect in the future. And, seeing these humanoids and especially the more sophisticated humanoids in ancient is, something you can expect, in addition to the hordes in ancient being harder than common, which right now they can be a little bit too close to each other. So,
yeah. And then also, it's kind of part of that too. I saw somebody bring it up earlier about the levels of walkers. It was a little slightly different context, but made me think of it was that we are changing the walker levels to be closer to the player levels. So the display will be able to let you know the relative danger a little easier, kind of based on what your player level is. So you'll see, like 0 through 10 in common, up to 100 in the ancient. So.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is a good change to couple alongside the HQ level change, right? So we want to have as simple as level communication as possible, and we think that making it one-to-one with the player is kind of the way to go there. So yes, walkers will get a lot more levels. So
yep. Yeah, and then timing on some of the things that are coming in, mobile, a much bigger lift. We're quite a ways out on that. The dungeons, we just keep making progress every week, but still quite a ways out. We might see another update in the next few weeks, smaller one with some kind of minimal changes to what's currently in there. But the Wyatt's cool stuff that we're seeing here is a bit further out as well, as we don't want to wipe the server again after doing it so soon. And we also, when we make a change like this, we need to make it a nice and friendly to everybody playing so that your base doesn't end up inside a movie theater. So we've got some we've got some stuff we need to do to be able to kindly pull somebody off of the world, pack up their base, and let them be able to put it back down. So some of these changes that we're seeing are extremely cool, but will take a bit of time to get into all of your all hands. So expect that in the coming months. So
Yeah, I think everyone would prefer the minor inconvenience of having their base packed up than having it all just erased.
that's our guess. So if everybody just wants the game wiped every couple of days, let us know. But I think trying to do it so that people get to keep their progress as much as possible and as few wipes as possible would be the ideal. So I think we got time for probably like one more question here, Doug. Did anything jump out at you, or should one of us pick one?
Yeah, before anything, just gonna give a reminder for everyone. There are a few players, like people in Discord, they're saying that they're not being able to see the secret channel. How it works, you don't need to go to the Gala Games website and connect your Discord there. What can happen is if you did that like a long time ago, like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, maybe you can just click unlink and link again. It's okay to the restart computer thing, but just unlink and link again, because you do need the verified Gala Games user role. So that's the name of the role. You can click your name and check. You do need the verified Gala Games user role. So if you can see that, then you can participate. So that's good. Always good to remind.
There you go. Well, I think with that we can probably wrap it up here. So thank you everybody for joining us, Mr. Doug Sunny. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for talking combat. It was great to have you on. Wyatt, once again, great to have you. This was great to show off all the cool progress, and hopefully people will be able to have that in their hands soon, moving around, going into more interiors, cool stuff to chat about the level design. And Brandon, as always, I love hosting it with you and glad to have you here.
It's always great to be here.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in, for watching, for asking questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And
join the Discord.
Yeah, join the Discord. Keep the conversation going. We'll see you all out there. Bye, everybody.